Welcome to Strip Cover Lit, where we squeeze the bigger picture out of literature. I am Adrian Fort, and we are here for another poetry discussion, and once again, this poem comes to us from Charles Bukowski in The Pleasures of the Damned. This poem itself happening on page 388, and it is titled A Radio with Guts. It reads as such. Pardon me. A Radio with Guts. It was on the second floor on Coronado Street. I used to get drunk and throw the radio through the window while it was playing, and, of course, it would break the glass in the window and the radio would sit out there on the roof, still playing. And I'd tell my woman, "Ah, what a marvelous radio." The next morning, I'd take the window off the hinges and carry it down the street to the glass man, who would put in another pane. I kept throwing that radio through the window each time I got drunk, and it would sit out there on the roof, still playing. A magic radio, a radio with guts. And each morning, I'd take the window back to the glass man. I don't remember how it ended exactly, though I do remember we finally moved out. There was a woman downstairs who worked in the garden in her bathing suit, and her husband complained he couldn't sleep nights because of me. So we moved out, and in the next place, I either forgot to throw the radio out the window, or I didn't feel like it anymore. I do remember missing the woman who worked in the garden in her bathing suit. She really dug with that trowel, and she put her behind in the air, and I used to sit in the window and watch the sun shine all over that thing while the music played. I think this poem is dastardly close to being a great Bukowski poem. It is not a great Bukowski poem. It is a nice example of Bukowski. But I think that it's dangerously close to being a really, really great Bukowski poem. The part, "I keep getting drunk and throwing my radio through the window," still plays though. If you look at that, and you imagine the theme of this poem as Bukowski's relationships, or the speaker's relationships, and those things to which he is prone to continuing, as well as those things to which he is ignorant. In that way, "I keep getting drunk and throwing my radio through the window," still plays though, is a lot like "I get drunk and I'm a prick to my girlfriend. She still loves me, though. Each morning, I would get it repaired," is a lot like "When I wake up and I get sober, we make up." That's a lot how this poem reads to be setting up. And there is a key line halfway through the poem. I don't remember how it ended exactly. To that point, the only two "its" that we have, which might end, are him throwing the radio through the window and him being in a relationship. Now, in the very next... So first off, I think that the stanzas, I don't remember how it ended exactly, though I do remember we finally moved out. There was a woman downstairs who worked in the garden in her bathing suit, and her husband complained he couldn't sleep at nights because of me. So we moved out, and in the next place, I either forgot to throw the radio out the window, or I didn't feel like it anymore. I think that could be condensed. I think that that part could be shorter. I think that it could be more clever. And I think that it could serve to further the poem instead of being a point where the poem sort of backs up. It's sort of like a sink getting clogged. It's backing up, and all of the meaning funneling through the poem gets sort of stuck. But that line, "I don't remember how it ended exactly," with its ambiguities, is poetic ambiguity. That we are left to toy with the "it" in question. Because The line in question, I don't remember how it ended exactly, leads directly into Bukowski's at least mental dalliance with another woman. We are left to make a connection that it is the relationship that ended. However, the crux of the poem being the weird problem that he develops when drinking, being that he throws a radio through the window. That line is where those two things intersect. And the meaning in that becomes, I don't really think I'm in control after I do X, but Y is the consequence, which isn't so bad so long as I can fix it. Because that other woman is the direct focus immediately after the line, which introduces the ambiguity, we are left to assume that that is where the poem is going. But we are very shortly cut off from that with, I either forgot to throw the radio out the window or I didn't feel like it anymore. If we were either left a little longer to toy with that ambiguity or the clarification of that ambiguity was never given to us, this could be a great poem. Because especially the way it ends with that one line stanza while the music played. We are watching Bukowski look at the woman. We are watching Bukowski as he takes in the woman that is that is a subtractor from his relationship. While he listens to the music is still playing, the music goes on. And this is in the daytime, so it is prior to Bukowski going and breaking the window with the radio. So, metaphorically, what we are left with is Bukowski watching another woman in a sexual manner, while his relationship, his partner, is doing the work of the relationship to which he is oblivious. And I think that if that ambiguity were not so quickly remedied, or if it were not cleared up at all, this could really be a great poem. But I think that that ambiguity is not played with enough. So it just becomes, for me, a good example of Bukowski. That's all I have to talk on for this poem today. Hit the like button if you would. It really helps us out here on the channel. Hit subscribe if you were here by chance for some reason without having already subscribed to Strip Coverlet. And if you would like to help us make more content, there is a link as always to our Patreon to be found in the description below. And I hope to see you in the future for more poetry discussions.